No, we're
All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I just wanted to give you a few housekeeping notes before I hand everything over to Nicola and Stacy. My name is Jessie. I work for a company called Emerging Destinations, and we have the pleasure of representing the Guyana Tourism Authority here in the U.S. For this webinar today, we are targeting our diaspora and heading home to Guyana. And we have Nicola from the Guyana Tourism Authority and Stacy joining us from Visit Guyana. Before I hand everything over, I just wanted to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. So if you need to take a call, step out for lunch, or need to get going early, no worries at all. I will be sending a follow-up email to you. I do encourage you to distribute that amongst your team or anyone that you think might be interested in the webinar. Also, the most important part, questions. Please be sure to ask those throughout the webinar so that we can get those at the end of the webinar while we still have Nicola and Stacy on with us. So type those through on the Go to Webinar control panel in that questions tab. But without further ado, I'm going to hand everything over to Nicola and Stacy, who are joining us from Guyana themselves, from the Guyana Tourism Authority office in Georgetown. Ladies, take it away.
Thanks, Jessie. Hi, everyone.
Thanks,
My name is Nicole Balaram from the Guyana Tourism Authority, and with me I have Stacy from Visit Guyana, who's the largest travel influencer in Guyana.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And before we get started, I'd just like to show you a short video on why you should come home to Guyana. Just bear with us as it's loading here. Thanks for looking at that short video. As Jessie mentioned, my name is Nicola and I'm the Senior Marketing Officer at the Guyana Tourism Authority. With me I have Stacy Rahaman, who's the co-founder of Visit Guyana. Throughout this presentation, we're going to take about 3 parts. So just a general knowledge of Destination Guyana, which many of you might already be familiar with. Then Stacy's going to jump in with some of the top 5 things you should come back home to do. And then we have some general questions and concerns that we know a lot of members from the diaspora usually have about Guyana. So Guyana is a rare kind of place, one where you can still find nature's beating heart. It's a small South American country located just below the Caribbean Sea, sandwiched between Venezuela, Suriname, and Brazil, and roughly about the size of the state of Idaho. It's the only country in South America where English is the official language. How to get to Guyana? There are many flight connections, direct and indirect, to Guyana. Some of the more popular ones are Caribbean Airlines from the North American markets, Copa Airways from Panama with 14 connections in the United States, Liat that popularly serves a lot of the regional Caribbean islands, Suriname Airways that serves Miami as well as Suriname, and American Airlines that currently serves Miami to Georgetown. We are getting some new flights from JFK New York. American Airlines will begin direct flights from JFK on December 18, 2019. This will be 4 flights weekly, and JetBlue Airlines will begin direct flights from JFK New York in April 2020. Once you're in Guyana, I bet you want to know how to get around. So when you're in Guyana, to get to around the main capital city of Georgetown, mostly you'll use vehicles and taxis. If you're going on river tours or going across the Berbice and Essequibo Rivers, you will travel in some smaller jet boats. And for those that are going on certain trips in Guyana and traveling into the Rupununi areas or to see Kaieteur Falls, you're going to go on small Cessna planes. 90% of the population currently lives on the coastland, leaving the interior lush and untouched and ready for exploration. What is Guyana's tourism product? In 5 simple categories, it's nature and wildlife, active exploration, culture and heritage, birding and conservation, and safe travel. Safe meaning scientific, academic, volunteer, and educational travel. And any trip to Guyana can touch more than 1 to all 5 of these pillars. Guyana is in the land of 6 different races, and the most common ethnicities you'll see on your travels here are Africans, Indians, indigenous peoples. Along with this, we also have descendants from the Chinese, Portuguese, as well as European settlers. With this, I'll let Stacy take it away to explain the top 5 things you should come home to do.
Right. So hi again, guys. There's so much you can come home to do. But we try to shortlist it into 5 things that you should come home to do. I suspect a lot of you have memories of Guyana, or if you weren't born here, maybe your parents share things with you. So we'll get right into it. The first reason should be to come to experience the waterfalls. Guyana actually has over 300 waterfalls, and there's several that are easily accessible. You can fly to Kaieteur, Arnduc, Barakar, and Marshall. You can see if you head up the Essequibo in a boat. So, you know, it's our waterfalls, they're so diverse. Kaieteur Falls, of course, being the largest single drop waterfall in the world by volume of water flowing around, over it. And I'll say you may have seen a lot of pictures if you've never visited, but there is actually nothing like a Kaieteur experience. Arnduc Falls, of course, again, a beautiful waterfall. I would encourage you guys to come, and you make memories, and it's a unique experience because Arnduc, you can actually sit under the falls, and it's very refreshing. Of course, Arnduc, the rocks around Arnduc, they're made out of solid jasper, red jasper, so that's an interesting fact about that waterfall. But definitely Guyana has beautiful waterfalls, and that's a really great reason to come back to visit. Before we head off of that as well, booking tours to Kaieteur, it's not difficult. All of our tour operators actually offer trips to Kaieteur. I know Evergreen Adventures as well, you could actually book on their website before you get here. So it's quite easy to plan your trip there. And if you want to see the Barakar or Marshall Falls, which is up the Essequibo River, it's quite easy to book a river tour as well. On to the second reason, rediscover the cuisine. Of course, Guyana has wonderful food, wonderful cuisine. That's something, no matter where you venture, you take your recipes with you, whether it's your curry, your cook-up, and so forth. But I want to put a little twist on this particular point by saying that when I say come rediscover the cuisine, there are a lot of young up-and-coming chefs here in Guyana who use our local fresh ingredients, because we're lucky enough to have access to beautiful fruit and fish and vegetables and all of these things fresh from the farm. They have been doing wonderful things with those ingredients. There are new dishes for you to try, as well as really great restaurants for you to try when you get back home here. So don't let your experience, of course, we encourage you to try your bush cook and
egg ball,
on your egg ball
and
on all of the things you're familiar with. But by the same token, we want to encourage you when you come back, there are great places for you to eat. They're safe. The food is prepared well. And we encourage you to, you know, try all of these great places that are available. There's Bistro Restaurant, there's Backyard Cafe, there's the Paragola, there's you know, if you're looking for a little more fancier place as well, you should try out the Marriott Hotel. There's the Bistro's new champagne bar. You know, there are lots of different places you should try. We also have local wine producers here that produce really great wines. You know, so there's lots of stuff. So in addition to everything that you would remember, all of our traditional meals like pepper pot and our curries and chokas and so forth, there are lots of new recipes and new chefs that you need to taste their hand, as we say here in Guyana. So come home and try out all of the new restaurants that are now available. On to the next point, reason number 3 why you should visit Guyana. Immerse yourself in new short stay soft adventure experiences. What I mean by that is one of the questions we oftentimes get on Visit Guyana is, I want to come back home, but maybe for the first trip back home after a while, I don't want to venture too far away. I don't want to go in the Rupununi just yet. You know, so what are some options that I have, especially if I'm bringing my family, maybe my non-Guyanese born kids to Guyana? Well, there are lots of places you can try out. And I know, particularly for the millennial generation of Guyanese living in the diaspora, you guys love adventure. So you need to venture up into the Essequibo. That's one of the places that you can really get a taste of our nature and adventure without having to fly to maybe Rupununi. So you can, if you go, for example, to Lake Mainstay, you can visit all of the other lakes in the Essequibo. There are 5 Great Lakes up there. Baganara, there you can go on a rainforest hike. You can go biking in Arrow Point Resort, and all of those resorts are just up the Essequibo or up the Demerara. So it's not very far. Nicole, how long would it take from Georgetown to, say, Arrow Point, for example?
The total journey takes about an hour, and that includes driving from Georgetown up the East Bank Highway and then taking a boat ride from that marina to it.
Right, so it's not very long. And likewise for Lake Mainstay, you can actually drive there. So you have your vehicle with you, which allows you to explore the Essequibo and maybe take a drive up Charity and all of that. So there are lots of new options and tour packages available for short tours. I'd mentioned the Essequibo River tour already, where you get to see 4 or 5 different places on the Essequibo River, inclusive of Fort Island. So, you know, come back and try all of these shorter tours too if you don't want to head up just yet into Rupununi. Do the Rupununi circuit, you can definitely try other short tours. There's also Linden, there's the Watuka Lodge, which is also, you can drive to get there. So there are lots of other short stays and affordable options as well. On to the other point number 4, step out of the city and enjoy short stays. This is connected to what I said before. So basically, with regards to Essequibo River and heritage, there are lots of things if you want to, or if you want to do more than a day trip, say outside of the city, you can do an overnight trip as well to any of those resorts. All of them are family friendly. It's not difficult to get there. It's very safe. All of the amenities that you may be accustomed to traveling to other places are available. So there's nothing to worry about. You'll be well taken care of at all of our nature resorts of the Essequibo. So the ones I would pinpoint, maybe you can write them down. It's the Arrow Point Resort. There's Sloat Island Resort of the Essequibo. There is RY Resort. There's
Baganara
Island. Right, and Lake Mainstay as well. So all of them are very great accommodation, great food, wonderful experiences. You can kayak, you can jet ski, you can do a bonfire on the beach. There's lots of stuff that your family would enjoy. Very relaxing. So I know oftentimes people say Guyana doesn't have beaches, but really of the Essequibo, there are beautiful resorts that do have beachfronts that you can get that type of experience as well. So it's sort of like a combination of enjoying our nature soft adventure. You can do bird watching as well. On Sloat Island Resort, you can spot sloats. So there's the nature and adventure as well as you can just relax on the beachfront. So you have that experience as well. So there's lots for you to enjoy coming back home to Guyana. On to the next slide, rediscover our cultural heritage. What this one really means is you may not have been home in a while, but because of the six ethnic lines from which Guyanese hail, our festivals are beautiful. And over the years, they've gotten even more so. So more people are participating, people are coming out, there are new booths, new experiences. For example, at Emancipation, if you head to the national park to experience that festival on Emancipation Day, you can learn about African drumming. There are people there who can teach you. You can get immersed in that experience and actually learn how to do the drum beating. There's lots of storytelling where you can learn about our history, if that's something you're interested in, our costumes. Likewise, Pago, of course, I think that's a festival that unites us all here in Guyana, our Pago Festival. There's so much that you can, come back home, matrimony, of course. I mean, hit the street, get all dressed up the same way. In Trinidad, of course, Carnival is a big thing. People from all over the world who are Trinidadians head back to Trinidad during Carnival time to celebrate. Likewise, here in Guyana, the costumes and the floats are amazing. They're colorful. Your kids are going to enjoy it. It's an experience. If they've never visited Guyana before, they will absolutely love it. So, even if you've never brought your kids back home, maybe your spouse has never been here with you, please bring them back. There's lots of festivals, particularly my favorite, of course, is Easter and Christmas time. There's just a different feeling when you're in Guyana for Christmas because everybody gets into the food, the pepper pot, the black cake. There's so much to enjoy. And likewise, Easter, kite flying. Your kids are going to absolutely enjoy that festival. So come back to Guyana, rediscover our festivals, get immersed in them, and that's another thing to add to your Guyana bucket list. And really, those are 5 of the top reasons we try to share with you guys. Come home for short stays, come home, rediscover cuisine, rediscover festivals, rediscover resorts. So that's, I hope you guys learned something from that.
Thanks, Stacy. I know a lot of concern with people coming home back to Guyana. A lot of people have some main questions that that always comes top of the mind. So we've highlighted about 5 of them that through our 2 agencies and our years within the tourism industry and speaking to people that come back that haven't been back for a while, some of the main concerns. So I'm just going to read it out and just ask Stacy to respond to them.
Sure.
So Guyana is not safe.
That's, I think, our number 1 question that we get on our Visit Guyana page. I'll be honest with you guys, in the city, just like many other cities around the world, you have to exercise caution in certain areas. You wouldn't necessarily want to display large sums of cash, jewelry, maybe have your expensive camera out. So in the city, certainly you want to ensure that you take the necessary precautions. There are safe places in the city. Having said that, Gifford Mall is safe, Movie Town Mall, there's parking, there's all kinds of activities available in and around those malls as well. So that's quite safe, but the point I want to make to everybody is that Georgetown is not Guyana. And oftentimes the diaspora who would have left a long time ago are people who did not experience a lot of the product, especially the product as is now, meaning that there are tour operators and tours available that you can book, and they're going to pick you up at your hotel, drop you back there, take you to the resorts. And our tourism product is outside of the city, and we've never had any incidences, and this is a fact, at any of our nature resorts, in the Rupununis, Sarama, Rewa, Baganar, we've never had any incidences that would make anybody feel unsafe. So just remember, our product, our tourism resorts and our eco lodges, they're outside of the city and there's nothing to fear.
Yeah, I think you raised a good point too. If I am traveling to a new state within the US or somewhere in Canada I've never been, or Europe, I would exercise caution going to those places, the same as I would here.
Exactly.
As well.
Right.
The next point, Guyana is not developed.
Oh, that's definitely far from the truth. We have come a long way from, maybe some
30, 40 years
yes, a
ago.
long time. And that's what motivated me to create Visit Guyana page. I think a lot of what you may see on the internet, it's changing now because of social media, but in large part because we hadn't had high-speed internet before. People weren't sharing a lot of their content when they're traveling. And I must say this to you, Guyanese are traveling when they come back home. They're not just staying at their relatives. They're going in the hotels. They're exploring the country because it's new to them too, because of all of the new tours available. So, our transportation services have greatly improved. Our hotels have great amenities. They have good food. Guyana is definitely, we've come a long way with regards to being developed. Our eco lodges, our resorts are amazing. RY, people are always surprised when they see, here, is that in Guyana? So, we've moved away from Guyana not being developed, into, I think we're in a really great place now. There's more to be done, but there always will be development. Even in the most developed country, they're always improving. But come see for yourself. That's my challenge to you.
Yeah, and I did in the same note to there are new experiences, new restaurants, but
Exactly.
they all still are authentic to what is truly Guyanese.
That is
So
true.
it's a bit of a best of both worlds situation, if you
Yes,
will.
that's true. I remember when we started to put up some of the restaurants on Visit Guyana, people were surprised, and some of the responses we got was, "Oh, we want to see egg ball," but over the last 2 years, that has changed because Guyanese now understand that Guyana has egg ball and it has all of our traditional beautiful cuisine and places to eat it, our street food, but there are also alternatives now, because of the demand for it. People do want nice places, they do want new cuisine experiences and so forth. So Guyanese have been stepping up and offering these experiences to visitors. So Guyana is definitely developed.
One of the next concerns is that there's nothing to do when I come home to Guyana.
Oh my, there is so much to do. There is so much to do. Again, let me stress what I've learned from the Visit Guyana page is that sometimes people sort of have a very narrow view of Guyana in terms of Georgetown. And I'll repeat this again. Georgetown is not Guyana, guys. There's a reason we're called the land of many waters. Up the Demerara River, there are places to visit. You can head up to Butukala, there's our Point Resort. Of the Essequibo, we have 5 Great Lakes. We have so many indigenous missions you can stop at to get that indigenous experience. There's the Rupanunis, North and South Rupanuni, where you get completely different experiences. There's the ranch experience with the cattle. You can go horseback riding. There's Caranambo Lodge. You can see the giant otter. You can go bird watching. You can go caiman spotting. There's tons of stuff to do. And if nature and adventure is really not your thing, there's all of the resorts in the Essequibo. You can just go have your sun and sun experience as well. What I'd say about Guyana is we actually are lucky because we have so many experiences for the nature adventure. If you love fishing, if you love bird watching, there's so much to do. And of course, if you're a foodie, stay in the city, you can enjoy that. Even if you head out into the Rupanunis, you can taste all of the indigenous cuisine there. But there's so much for you to do. And, I mentioned our festivals before as well. So no, definitely there's a lot to do.
Yep. And one of the things that I know a lot of my friends and family that come back, a lot of the first things that they would like to do are things that they used to do when they were younger. So
that's a great point.
To have a snow cone and walk on the seawall, go to feed the manatees, all of those experiences are still there. And it's something that you and your family and your friends that maybe have never been to Guyana before, it's a great opportunity to learn and to experience that maybe for the first time.
Yeah, that's a great point because we took this guy around, he hadn't been back to Guyana for 40 years and he wanted to see the Kissing Bridge and he wanted to go with his wife on it because she's non-Guyanese and he wanted to share that experience with her. to kiss her on top of the kissing bridge and make that memory. So, even the smaller things can be great, or just getting your friends together, your family doing a bush cook, or, go visit one of the creeks up the Linden Highway. All of those things, there's so much to do. There's so much to do.
And for those that may not know the term bush cook.
Oh, yes.
Bush cook literally means when you and your family or friends go along the highways, go into nature, and what we call a fireside in Guyana. It's basically a bonfire,
Sort
more
of
or less
outdoor
like
barbecue,
an
right?
outdoor barbecue station.
Yes.
And in that one pot, you're able to make some of your local dishes, and you all sit around and just enjoy nature and have a good time on those weekends.
Yes.
The next concern, Guyana is too hot.
I had a guy actually message us and said we should put sprinklers on some of the lampposts, but this is somebody who hadn't been here before, and somebody told him that Guyana is hot. So he said, it's not too hot. I mean, there are many countries that
have the same climate,
that have the same climate and are very popular tourist destinations. So it's not, of course, if you're coming from a very cold country, your body has to acclimatize a little bit. Likewise, if we leave Guyana during winter time, we have to acclimatize to a cold climate as well. So, but it's nothing that you can't handle, no.
And we have showers in Guyana too. So anytime you get really hot, you can just take a break and have a shower. Or just
jump in a creek or a lake, right?
Exactly. And one of the final things that many people ask is there Wi-Fi in Guyana?
Yes, there is Wi-Fi. Most of our, I would say all of our resorts up of the Essequibo River has Wi-Fi. Our eco lodges also are connected by satellite, and definitely Wi-Fi is available here in Guyana, so you have no fear. But sometimes it's good to get off of the grid as well.
Yes. So some of the areas Stacey was talking about in the heart of the rainforest in the Rupununi region, as well as to some of the more rural indigenous communities, you do have selected Wi-Fi hours, but it is because of where it's located. Sometimes you may have to pay for that, but that is a lot of what attracts many people to travel there in the first place, the ability to get off of the grid.
Yes.
But in Georgetown, in more of the urban areas, you will have Wi-Fi, and you can also get a data plan in Guyana as well for your mobile devices. Just to reiterate as well, Stacey, she referred a lot to Visit Guyana. Stacey started her own page before influencers became a thing. And now she is the largest travel influencer within Guyana. On the Guyana Tourism Authority side, our official page is Discover Guyana. So on both pages, you'll be able to have that experience. You might see Stacey's face a lot more on the Visit Guyana page, but not too much. Many people's faces on the Discover Guyana page as well. For more information, before we close off, you can visit the Guyana Tourism Authority's website at www.guyanatourism.com, the official destination website of Guyana. It is operated and monitored by the Guyana Tourism Authority, and you can follow us on social media at Discover Guyana.
Right. Visit Guyana. You can find us on Facebook. Our handle is facebook.com/go-to-Guyana. Instagram, it's Visit Guyana. And our website is undiscoveredguyana.com. We're always there. Somebody's always there to answer your questions as well. So feel free to inbox us or WhatsApp us. Our WhatsApp number is on all of our pages, and we will definitely answer all of your questions.
Yep. A couple other websites you can get some more information at www.exploreguyana.org, which is the website link for the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana. This is the private sector sister agency to the GTA and a membership organization with many of our local tour operators. You can also visit guyanatourism.com to find a list of licensed tour operators within Guyana and contact both Visit Guyana and Discover Guyana for any questions you may have that we can help you at. For statistics on Guyana, please visit statisticsguyana.gov.gy. And for investment opportunities into Guyana, visit the official website of Guyana Office for Investment or GoInvest at goinvest.gov.gy. We are here to help you rediscover Guyana. So any questions you have, please feel free to reach out to us or to Emerging Destinations, and they'll be able to direct you to one of us who can better help serve you and answer any questions you have. Thank you, and any questions?
Thank you very much.
Impressive, ladies. You ended at just 30 minutes on the dot. So we'll just open it up for a few questions. I have some here, but just to make sure that we do log your questions, please type those through. And even if we don't get to them right now, we will still be able to follow up directly. This is kind of a good question. I know that we targeted the Diaspora of Guyana for this webinar, but can you explain what the Diaspora is?
Yeah, so diaspora, we basically define it as persons who are either Guyanese by birth, marriage, or maybe they are their parents. We call them second or third generation Guyanese. Their parents or their grandparents are from Guyana.
Perfect.
So that's basically how we define diaspora.
Good. Just a few questions. Can you mention how you would go about booking these tours that you were talking about? We mentioned Kaitour Falls. We mentioned several smaller circuits and going into the interior. Can you just mention how these people would go about booking?
The Guyana Tourism Authority website is a great resource. You can go on there. They have a list of tour operators that you can book through, as well as the social media pages for the Guyana Tourism Authority and Visit Guyana, where you can inbox us at any time if you have questions on specific tours or destinations you want to visit, and we will certainly send you all of the information you need to do the bookings.
Perfect. Any visas or immunizations required to visit Guyana?
For anyone traveling from the US, Canada, Europe, as well as the Caribbean islands, you do not need a visa to come into Guyana. You can enter visa-free. In terms of immunization, we do recommend that you have the yellow fever vaccination, as well as have malaria pills on hand, as well also with your prescribed medications that you will get over-the-counter medications in Guyana, but anyone that is doctor prescribed, we recommend that you walk with that as well.
Perfect. If you do not have any family contacts, is it safe to rent a car and do a self-drive?
It is, depending on what areas you would like to go to. More than mostly in Georgetown, it's easier to access to some of the areas. Once you contact your tour operator, then they'll be able to direct you to where you can get your self-drive car, what areas might be best depending on your interests, and give you some contact information as to how to reach them as well in case of any emergency that comes up during your stay here.
Perfect. I'll take this last question, and then again, if we did not get to your question now, don't worry, we'll follow up directly. But the tours, are they normally with a larger group, or is it possible to get a private tour with just you and your family or a small personal group?
Yes, all tours are customizable. We've actually facilitated tours through tour operators for as little as one person. So yes, you know, all of the tour operators are willing and they're always helpful about customizing tours to persons. So certainly if your group is not a large one, that can be facilitated through any of the operators. Again, you can find tour operator information on the Guyana Tourism Authority's website, guyanatourism.com, or you can inbox any of our social media pages for tour operator information, but certainly the tours can be customized.
Perfect. All right, ladies, thanks so much again for taking us through Guyana and going home. Again, this webinar was recorded. You'll all receive a webinar playback. So if you missed the beginning, no worries at all. And we also encourage you to distribute this to anyone you think who might be interested in this particular topic. But I'd like to send a warm thank you to Nicola and Stacy. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Jessie.
You so much, Jessie, and thanks to everyone who tuned in as well. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Bye.
Bye.